If you check Dex Screener right now, one thing becomes immediately clear. The memcoin market is red hot and moving at an insane pace. On Solana, fresh memecoins are being deployed constantly, sometimes every couple of minutes, and a few of them generate massive volume for me almost instantly after launch. One quick look at the charts is enough to understand how aggressive and fast the market currently is. In this video, I want to share a non-traditional and still extremely uncommon way to launch memecoins on Solana, a launch format that very few people are experimenting with today. I'll show how this method works, how it differs fundamentally from standard launches, and explain everything step by step using my own memecoin as a real example. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just sharing my personal opinion on the market. As a developer deeply involved in the Solana ecosystem, I've been testing a memcoin launch approach designed to provide immediate exposure, organic discovery, and genuine trader interest, without relying on the typical launch hype. No influencers, no Discord raids, no paid promotions. It may sound unconventional, but in real conditions, this strategy has already shown impressive performance for me. That's the exact reason I decided to make it public. In this video, you'll see how memecoins can be launched on Solana, how a token shows up on Dex Screener almost instantly, real-time live trading, how the market reacts during the very first minutes after launch. Make sure to watch until the end. I'll break down exactly how this memcoin launch strategy functions, why it's starting to attract attention in the crypto community, how it stands apart from traditional methods, including risky rug pull models, and why I personally consider it one of the most effective approaches for me in the current market environment. Alright, first thing we need is this site. I'll leave a short link to it down in the video description. When you mint a token through platforms like this, it automatically gets picked up by all the major tracking tools, including Dex Screener and Axiom. So the very first step I take is opening Dex Screener and scanning for any solid token that's trending at the moment. The logic here is pretty straightforward. It helps pull in more buyers and keep steady volume moving through our memcoin. Okay, I've chosen a token. Nothing fancy, just a well-known one that's currently doing fine. Now I hit Create Token. I copy the image, the title, and the ticker symbol. For total supply, I usually set something close to 1 billion tokens, though to be honest, supply doesn't play a huge role here. Next, I add a short description. It can be a joke, a meme, or something a bit more detailed if you prefer. Now we get to the key part, a relatively new option that most people still overlook. We're going to modify the creator details of the token. More specifically, we assign a different large Solana wallet. Yes, this is a newer feature that allows you to replace the developer info. That data is written directly into the smart contract metadata. And just to be clear, you still stay the real owner of the token. Here's the important thing to understand. There are platforms that track new token launches in real time. There are dozens of them, and they're watched by hundreds of thousands of users, regular traders, sniper bots, all constantly scanning for fresh launches. Now focus on one particular detail, the creator address. My goal is to find a creator wallet that's linked to a balance holding a large amount of SOL. The process itself is pretty simple. I launch the token with very small initial liquidity, for example around 3 SOL. As soon as the token goes live, it gets indexed and instantly appears across all major tracking platforms. Traders start seeing the same token pop up everywhere at once. At the same time, they notice another strong signal. The creator wallet shows a huge SOL balance. This is where psychology kicks in. When traders see this setup, many assume the low liquidity was added on purpose. The usual story is that the creator is offering early access at a discounted level, possibly for early buyers, with the idea that a big liquidity injection from that SOL-heavy wallet will come later, pushing the price much higher. And this isn't just speculation. In reality, some creators actually use this exact approach. That's why sniper bots and experienced traders actively hunt for launches that match this pattern. So the objective here is simple, to design the token launch so it perfectly fits this familiar and well-recognized setup. Take a moment to look. This is a perfect example of how this setup works in real conditions. The creator released the token with extremely small initial liquidity, while holding a large amount of Solana in the wallet. Traders managed to get into this memecoin at a very low price, and not long after, the price jumped aggressively. Today, I'm going to launch a token that sends buyers the exact same visual signals. To do this, I found a wallet with a high SOL balance. I'm copying that wallet address and placing it right here. I'm using this approach because it noticeably increases how trustworthy the token appears. For any token to appear on tracking platforms, including DEX Screener, a liquidity pool must be created. This can be done through PumpSwap, which is a newer feature on PumpFun, or via Radium. You can also configure everything directly on this site by simply turning on the liquidity option. At this point, you just select how much Solana and how many tokens you want to provide to the pool. Liquidity parameters are pretty flexible, and you can always adjust them later on. I'll be adding liquidity straight through this platform. I've already launched several tokens here before. As you can see, I'm opening the liquidity pool section. In my experience, all of my previous launches here have ended up being profitable for me. Alright, let's jump back to the token creation part. I'm going to add 3 Solana into the liquidity pool, although you can go with less. For example, 1 Solana also works. From my experience launching multiple tokens with this method, the strongest results usually come when liquidity sits around 3 Solana. That said, 1 Solana is still a perfectly valid option. Next, I set the amount of tokens that will go into the liquidity pool. I generally suggest adding around 90% of the total supply. So if the total supply is 1 billion tokens, we're putting in about 900 million. Alright, after that I select a 2% fee, and that's basically it. Now I paste my wallet address right here. This is where the tokens will be sent, and this address will act as the actual owner. After that, I click Launch Token. A payment window pops up, and I need to send some Solana to the displayed address. This is simply the fee required to create the token. Alright, the transaction is done, so now I click Check Transaction. And just like that, I get my meme coin contract address. I click on it, SolScan opens up, and I copy my token's address. Now we take that token address and head over to DEX Screener. I open any random token page first. Next, I replace the token address in the URL with my own. Perfect. I can now see my token listed on DEX Screener. We already noticed some instant buys coming in from sniper bots, but for us, that's still not enough. We need to give it a few minutes so real traders can start jumping in. One thing to keep in mind, DEX Screener shows liquidity as roughly double the real amount. That's because it also counts our token side, which now has a market price. At this point, I'm just watching how the token gets bought and sold. Yes, this is pretty much what crypto trading looks like today. Meme coins on Solana are trending again, so new golden launch strategies like this will continue to appear. But you already know how this goes. In a bull market, methods that generate strong profits always show up, and they also stop working fairly fast. So if you discover something effective, it's best to use it sooner rather than later. Alright, I'm going to speed up the video now, and let's see what happens over the next 15 minutes. Take a look at this. Sniper bots are already rushing in. They're entering through multiple separate buys, sometimes throwing in as much as 5 SOL per transaction. Alright, if I pull the liquidity right now, I'd walk away with roughly 13 Solana. That's a solid result. Clean and straightforward profit. Just watch how fast this token moves. The price shoots up aggressively and without hesitation. Now I open the liquidity pool section and check my portfolio. Everything refreshes instantly, and I can clearly see the profit increasing in real time. To exit the liquidity pool, it's very simple. Click Remove Liquidity, choose 100%, and then confirm Remove Entire Liquidity. All the funds go straight back to the wallet, and the token is effectively rugged. On this platform, there's no need for extra approval steps. The entire process is handled automatically by the smart contract. And to clarify, you still remain the actual owner of the token. Alright, I click Remove. Done. Liquidity is gone, and the token is fully rugged. You can immediately see the outcome reflected on the DEX interface. At the same time, it's worth mentioning that many Solana meme coins generate steady profits when creators don't rug and instead focus on promotion and ongoing development. Because of that, buyers continue to jump into tokens launched with this structure, even understanding that a certain percentage may end poorly. Right now, meme coins on Solana are gaining momentum again, which means more launch strategies and opportunities like this will keep appearing. This particular method works today, but there's no guarantee it will remain effective a month from now. All right, that's it for now. Thanks everyone for watching.